Hello and welcome to Outlook from the BBC World Service. I'm Jo Fidgen with more extraordinary personal stories from around the world. And we hear from two Moroccan brothers who've won the world's toughest marathon a staggering 14 times between them. The Marathon des Sables has a reputation as the world's toughest race. Runners cover about 150 miles, 240 kilometres, over 6 days in the sweltering heat of the Sahara Desert. It's an astonishing feat of human endurance. Two Moroccan brothers have dominated the competition, between them taking home the trophy 14 years on the trot. In fact, this is the first year since 1997 that neither Lassen Ahansel nor his younger brother Mohammed has won. I spoke to them both from Morocco, and Lassen told me the desert had always been their home.
Alors, notre famille, c'est une famille nomade. Ça veut dire nomade, ce sont des dromadaires, des chèvres.
Our family were nomads, so we lived a nomadic life with herds of camels and goats. We moved around with our livestock, depending on where we could find good grazing. Then after a while, my father found a job in construction near Zagora, so he took the whole family to live there.
Was running a part of your lives at that point?
As kids, we played lots of games, and most often these involved running, or chasing each other. So we were running from a very young age. Then we run to the well, for example, which was always a long way away. And school was a long way away too, so we ran there. Everything in our lives was about running.
So you were running to school. How far away was that?
Mohamed?
Well, the first school I went to was about 4 kilometres away, and the second about 7 kilometres away. There were morning and afternoon sessions, so we'd do 2 round trips a day, about 28 kilometres in total every day.
So you were running long distances from when you were very young. When did you start thinking about running competitively?
Well, from our school days, really. There was the Marathon des Sables, which always passed through our region. Year after year, we watched the runners go by and wondered what it was all about. We were longing to join in. It was the only race we knew. When the 6th marathon took place in 1991, I was there with the spectators for the start of the Zagora stage. I couldn't afford to take part, but as soon as the signal was given, I took off my djellaba, tied it round my head, and ran the whole first stage with the other contestants, but without a number and without a backpack. I managed to come second in the stage I ran. They promised they would help me take part officially the following year, 1992. I came third, but that was with a 30-minute penalty for running without some of the compulsory equipment, because it's not available in Morocco. But for me, the main thing was to compete and be part of this adventure.
And you first won in 1997, won every year until 2007, except for 1998, when you won, Mohammed, when you took part for the very first time.
Yes, for me it was the first time, so I benefited from my brother's experience. But at the time I wasn't really thinking about winning, because I didn't know how fit I was. I didn't know whether I was capable of winning. So there you are, I came first, and from then on either first or second in every single one.
And how did you feel, Lassen, when your brother came in like that and took the title from you?
Well, his family and the medal and the trophy come back home, so it was a great joy. But although he's my brother, it's still a competition. He was well prepared and he deserved to win.
When you're running the race together, do you run alongside? Do you compete? Do you wait for each other? How does it work?
For me, it's a great joy to run together. The Marathon des Sables is so long that it's very difficult to run the whole distance alone, even though Lassen and myself have both run it alone in the past. There are some stages of the race that I cope with very well, and Lassen knows this. Likewise, I know that he is better than me at other stages. But if he's ahead of me, it makes me very happy to know that he's going to win, and it gives me more confidence.
What about when it comes to the finishing line? Do you put on a spurt at that point to try and beat your brother?
In cases like that, when we can see the finishing line, we neither of us sprint. We wait for one another and then cross the finishing line hand in hand. But during the earlier stages of the race, it's more competitive. If one of us gets tired, then the other will speed up, because others are trying to win. But when we're approaching the finishing line, We simply can't overtake one another. We have to finish together, hand in hand. It makes me very happy when it's like that.
It's a real tribute to brotherly love, I must say. How do you keep going during that race, physically and mentally?
I have to say that willpower is very important. If you don't have the strength of mind to give it everything you've got, you can't win. When we run together, we can encourage each other. And this is why we've been able to win with a big lead over other runners.
How has it been for you, in that case, Mohamed, competing without your brother for the most recent races?
There have been many difficulties in the last few years. The competition is very strong, and there are plenty of runners who want to put an end to the Hansel brothers. I've made huge efforts to keep the title, but I really miss having someone to support me. Now I'm really on my own. But you have to be a fighter, and with that strength of mind I've been able to win without my brother.
What do you think explains why you two have performed so spectacularly in this race when you started out without sponsors, without money, without the right equipment, against runners who, in that sense, were much better equipped?
Well, we know the Marathon des Sables was the first competition we'd ever heard of. So for us it was unique, and it came through Zagora, where we lived. Then we took part in it and we won. But that wasn't luck. We put in a lot of effort. It helps that we're local, but also we've had some very tough times in our life, and that helps us to win, because this race is all about suffering. We're able to see beyond this suffering. Mohamed was talking about strength of mind, where we have the strength of mind to endure the desert winds and the pain of running over sharp stones.
You've clearly got great stamina and determination. Mohamed, we had on the programme a British athlete called James Cracknell some time ago, and he said that he did the Marathon des Sables last year and that he met you and that you were an absolute inspiration to him, that he admired you for how happy you remained despite the tremendous pressure. You do enjoy this race, do you?
First of all, I'd like to say a big hello to James. And I hope he's getting better, as I'd heard he had had an accident. Last year's experience running with him was great. I am always happy. Even if I don't win or if I get injured, I always feel great and hope to arrive at the finishing line on top form. But we're human, we're not machines, so there's no point in being stressed or nervous.
You've celebrated between you winning this race 14 times. Do you have a routine for celebrating the winning, the victory?
Oh yes, of course. At Ouarzazate, at the end of the marathon, there's a big celebration. Everyone is very happy. We make new friends and stay in touch with them. Whenever we go to Europe, to the United States, to South Africa, there's always someone we know who welcomes us and invites us into their home. That's the best prize we've won in the Marathon des Sables.
Were you both disappointed this year that Mohamed, you came second rather than first, and Lasson, you couldn't compete because of a knee injury?
Well, as I just said, we're not machines. This year's winner was a runner I trained, so that's great. I trained him in the same way my brother trained me. I prepared him to replace us, so it's a great joy that he won. I celebrated with him in the same way I used to do with my brother, so I hope he carries on winning.
Mohamed Lasson.